Just checking a few things out as it's been a long day. Pretty long week, but a really good week. If you recall, last week I feel like we had that gut check in the market when you had the reversal on 9/11 of all days when the S&P held the lows and reclaimed the prior day's low and, had a nice, powerful engulfing candle. And then from there, pretty much the market's acted very well where maybe not a lot of power, maybe not the best stocks leading, but, dips have been viable. Levels have been holding and things have been moving along. And when that happens, you just have to move along with it. If you look at the chart of the S&P cash, what a move. This was the day, pretty much the day that launched, this little bullish move was right here. Okay? Why was it right there? I'm going to just let you look at it. Okay, that, my friends, is what you call an engulfing candle. Wasn't the biggest one, but what did it do? It held above the low of 28.64, reclaimed 28.75 and closed well. The next day you had a higher low. Okay, then that was a quick move. Yes, this might have hurt a little bit, but it was still above the 8-day, still above the 21-day. Then all of a sudden, maybe you got out of some things on this day, but then this was Monday, inside day Tuesday, now you're at highs. So, you're going to see headlines and this and that all day long about new highs, etc. Hopefully, you've been involved because it's been a good 2 weeks, as far as the market. Last time we had a nice tradable run, was, remember when they shook the tree here, you had the gap up, okay, and then it held above it, and then it broke up above this, and then it held the 8-day again, and boom. That was also a nice 2-week move. So I tend to, specialize in these 2-week moves when I'm getting a little chopped up, and all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, that looks almost good. Then boom, took this out, you're in a, portfolio approach, and then you just manage a certain amount of names into this kind of move. Maybe on this day, you get out of it, it changed a little bit, but all in all, this right there was like a month. So that, my friends, is what we look for, and my specialty. I like the up moves better than the down moves. So anyway, at highs, Qs finally joined in. What do I mean? Well, basically the Qs have been struggling a little bit, but not really, falling apart, just trying to, hold the 50-day, which it did. Okay, so at this point, I'm still in my Qs that I bought yesterday, which was a nice buy. And tomorrow we'll see kind of get above this to get back towards the highs. Yes, the Qs are not leading the S&P and the Dow, but it's in line, it's not a headwind, and at some point it could play catch up. I think during this move too, it wasn't really leading the Dow. Remember when it played catch up real fast, went back up to it, then held higher, and then this time, it made the new highs. So all in all, even here I think it wasn't leading until all of a sudden, boom, so fast. So anyway, held the 50-day, looks good. We'll see if that continues. Some of you guys are in the IBB. I'm not. It perked up. I gave you this chart this morning. It cleared this spot. Now it's back above the moving averages. I don't know if it's going to have the same kind of move like it had here when it cleared this tight wedge type pattern, but you have a little descending channel here and it rose above it from a higher level. So at this point, it's in the game if you're in there. I'm not. What do small caps do today? Hanging in there. Yes, they're not leading, but they're also in a tight little descending channel that if money wants to go here, it can. XLE took the day off. At this point, again, I don't like trading energy names because there's hardly ever any follow through, but it's still not the end of the world considering where it came from. I would say, XLE needs to hold this spot to be any good. As far as high beta tech, a lot going on. Wellness names, a lot going on. At this point, if you want to take a quick look around the horn, Apple, not acting like the the leader that it usually is, but tactically there's some things to do. Okay, maybe they want to pin quad witching, they want to pin maybe 220. I don't know. All I know is that today you had to be real fast. This was your red dog reversal when it took this back, little follow through, and now I would think like this area should hold, and then at some point maybe it starts getting better in here. Amazon, had some antitrust news, absorbed it pretty well. Remember Microsoft and its antitrust news? Well, it's at historic highs. Anyway, at this point, this is not leading, still holding above the 50-day. If you think you might miss a trade through here and back up towards, the highs, like I kind of feel like I might miss it, so I bought a little bit towards the end of the day. Not a lot, just to kind of re-engage. Because I know if it went through and I'm on my way to Florida tomorrow and it's up 10-15, I may never get back involved. So anyway, it'd be nice if it could hold today's low tomorrow, 1932. I feel like you're risking $12. If the futures are down, it should hold above this, and go green. If there's some kind of news, then I guess we'll see what happens. Netflix took the day off. I was thinking about taking it home. I just didn't. I'll probably be sorry that I didn't. All in all, it's still acting very well. Just yesterday, a little loose and wide. People chased it, and then, it got a little stopped out. So I think they were just like avoiding it today. But ultimately, at some point, I feel like it gets above this and goes. We'll see. As long as it hangs above these moving averages, I think it's in the game. Then the two guys that did the worst recently, played a little catch up. Remember when Facebook reclaimed this 159.77? That was a good spot to switch gears. And then yesterday it took out this small little triangle, and now here it's coming back into resistance. Has a little bit more room. It is Facebook. Who knows? Maybe they could even squeeze it to the 200. I don't know. All I know is, the Bears had a chance here and they lost the ball, but this is your oversold bounce. It still needs to prove it can go higher. Maybe it goes sideways and goes. Google also more in the broken camp, but you had a red dog reversal yesterday. What's a red dog reversal? You guys know what that is. Traded below this, came back above it. If you've been watching it, that was your first tier, and then today could have been your second tier once it took out this spot, and now it's at resistance 1. Probably could get towards resistance 2 if it wants it, especially if the market continues. But anyway, nice little targeted tactic, not special, not like when it was here above the moving averages or even into there, but now it's just kind of a trade back up. Nvidia got hit hard today. It actually came off it. I don't even know what the news was, so I'm not going to make believe like I do. But there was news this morning, that's why I didn't participate. All in all, kind of hanging in there. Tesla, what's it called? Just a choppy mess. I'm not trading it, but it's still kind of in this active sequence that looks more actively bullish and bearish, maybe until it gets to the moving averages before the sellers have to make a real stand. I'm not involved. Then you have the cannabis names. What a friggin' crazy action. Okay, at this point, this was when it looked set up, right? And then look at the size of this move above the 8-day until finally it stretched. Okay, this morning I went over some levels that were resistance that actually were around that 230. So now here's all is this 2-day support. Here's your moving averages. So we'll see what happens. It'd be nice if it just hangs up here for a little bit and let some of the other names trade, because I do still think like the CGC, is hanging in there, traded on its own, merit, so to speak today, hung in there. At some point, I feel like that it's setting up for a higher move. This was the first, stock out of the gates, and then Tilray took the ball. But if it could hold up here a little bit longer, I would think it can go. CRON didn't act so bad either. Kind of held up, even though it was loose and wide yesterday and came in with Tilray. It still hung in there. I'm not in it, but it looks good. I did buy a stock today that had big volume, and someone put my attention on it. Where is CRBP? CRBP. Big move on big volume. It is, I would think that maybe, plays catch up and goes like the rest of them, but we shall see. Maybe it's too late in the rally, maybe it's not. Where is volume on here? Because where do I put the volume in? Because there was a lot of volume today. Let's see. Okay, let's just do volume real quick. Insert study. I'm having a little brain freeze right now. It's been a long week. Here's volume. Volume. Apply. Go like this. Now look at the size of that volume. So you would think that this volume could take it even higher, but we shall see. I also traded this ACAD, which was a news play by some guys on the floor. Closed really strong. Huge volume also. You would think this volume would support a move higher. We shall see. The banks, nice day 2. Listen, guys, when I talk about a day 1, wake up, typically, you're looking for day 2. And this was day 1 in JP Morgan, and then you got a little bit of day 2. And now I think it needs to hover here before it makes, a new move to 120 plus. Hopefully it hangs in here. I'm in BAC. I have less than I had 2 days ago and less than I had yesterday, but I'm still long it. This too gave you a day 2, didn't have much traction. This was your time to get involved as it took back all the moving averages, and now maybe it needs to hold above here for a little bit before going up to this spot. So in conclusion, just so you guys know, tomorrow I'm going to be traveling to Florida. I have a wedding. I'm going with my wife and my son, the flight's at 7:30, so I might be able to get up in the morning and tweet to you guys like I normally do and just tell you what overseas markets are doing, where the futures are, what levels of support, depending. Like if we're down, S&P futures are down 5 after breaking out yesterday. It would be constructive if we can continue to hold 1916, the prior breakout. That would be my language. Overseas markets are up, futures are up 5. Say S&P futures are up 5 handles. Nice multi-day move to break out. I would trim some, but also see if it could hold above this 1934 on its way to maybe 1950. So, or 2950, I'm sorry. That's the way, I would talk about it. Tech, the same thing. If the futures is down a little bit, I'd say, the Qs woke up, held a 50-day. I think it would be constructive if the Qs hold 183.52 to go sideways to eventually take out the 185 resistance for a move back towards highs of the year. So that's the language. You guys got to get used to my language because I speak and type my language. It's kind of like Red Dog-isms. If you've been a member for this long, you know what a Red Dog reversal means. Trade this versus that means if this, then that. If that, then this. Reclaiming levels. If you're trading for momentum, it has to hold above a momentum level. These are all things that mean stuff to you on your tier system and your navigation and your process, besides all the chart patterns and besides everything else that you have to take into account. So with that said, I do have a few positions on. I tweeted the VTF so you could see it. I will probably put some orders in before I leave, and then when I kind of land, I think at 10:30, I'll see where things are at, and then I'll do a few little navigations. All in all, I'm very light because it's been a great run, and I'm going to Florida, and it's my birthday tomorrow, and why shake things up when I don't have to? Because again, we're in a spot where we were tight, we did break out, and now you're just trying to manage your positions by selling the rips and buying the dips and finding the new setups. And I won't be in my computer all day to do so, but we shall see. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.